Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about bandaging, and the first bandage we're going to do is a hoof wrap. Hoof wraps are used when the horse has an abscess through a shoe or needs a little extra cushion. When putting on a hoof wrap, it's important that you clean out the hoof very thoroughly before wrapping it so there's no bacteria. Hoof wraps can be used to protect the hoof if they need any extra cushion. They can be used when a horse threw a shoe or is sore after just being shoed. They can also be used in the case of an abscess where we need to draw out some infection, in which case we would put some type of drawing salve like Ichamol on to the diaper, which we will be putting on next. The diaper is actually a baby diaper that fits into the curve of the hoof really well, and you would just start by putting the toe of the hoof in the butt of the diaper and then wrapping the tabs around and securing it to the back of the hoof over the heel bulbs and over the cornet band. This diaper would allow us to put any ointment on the bottom of the diaper to penetrate the hoof and also to protect the hoof and add a little bit of cushion. The next step is going to be applying vet wrap, and it's important to remember that after you've picked up the hoof and cleaned it out, you cannot set it back down because then you risk contaminating the wrap and spreading more bacteria. So we're going to get our vet wrap out and start wrapping the hoof. We want to go all the way around the hoof wrap, but never on above where the diaper sits. We want the diaper to be the only thing touching the horse's skin. So here I start wrapping around the front of the hoof wall and then just wrap it around. And in this video, I use the entire roll of vet wrap just because I like to have a little bit extra cushion, and it secures the wrap better and they're less likely to walk through it the more layers of vet wrap you have and the more layers of duct tape you have, which would be the next step. Here you can see I am going all the way around the hoof, making sure to secure it over the heel bulbs and around the toe, and then I'm also going to cover the sole of the hoof to make sure that he's not walking through the wrap. So the next step, like I said, will be the duct tape, and the way you apply the duct tape is that before even trying to put the wrap on the horse, you have to make the grid for the duct tape. You can either do this by placing long strips of duct tape horizontally down your leg. I like to use at least 7 strips, and then you can go on top of them vertically with another at least 7 strips, or you can do it in a weaving pattern where you place one horizontally, one vertically, and then so on and so forth until you have a decent sized grid. I've already made my grid and it is attached to the jeans of my leg. I like to do it on my leg just because it's easier for me to take up and place on the leg and I'm not reaching around for stuff. And when you're starting this wrap, because you can't set the hoof down, it's important to have all of your supplies within reach. So I've taken the duct tape off my leg and I'm about to place it onto the hoof. It's important that you put the largest part on the sole of the hoof and then you want to wrap it around to fit and conform to the hoof. So here you can see that I'm forming it to the hoof and molding it around, getting it all nice and attached. And once I have the duct tape on the hoof, I can set the hoof back down. After setting it down, I realized that the grid was not big enough, and so I went back in with extra duct tape just around the wall of the hoof to secure it better and make it last longer. And then I also went and added more duct tape to the toe of the hoof, just so they would have less chance of walking out of the wrap. The more duct tape you have, the longer it's going to stay on, the longer it's going to stay intact, and the less likely they are to walk through it. Okay, and our wrap is finished. I'm setting it down, and here you can see all 3 layers of the wrap. Like I said, it's important that the diaper is the only thing touching the skin. The next wrap we're going to do is a polo wrap. The polo wrap is used to protect the leg from interference, which is one front leg hitting the other. It does not provide any stabilization or support to the leg. And when we are wrapping the polo wrap, we start from the inside to the outside, wrapping front to back, And we want to start with the first revolution covering the top corner of the wrap so there's nothing poking out. If they were to get the top corner snagged or we apply the wrap with uneven pressure, we risk damaging the leg with bandage bows or cording. And here you can see that I'm going down the leg, making even revolutions, keeping even pressure all the way down. And once I get to the fetlock, I'm going to cup the fetlock to anchor the wrap in place so there's less chance of it moving and shifting around. Here you can see I'm cupping the fetlock, and then I'm going to come back up and start making my revolutions to the top. Another important thing to remember is that you want the wrap to be centered in the middle, and a way for it to check if it's centered is there should be a triangle that runs straight down the middle of the hoof from the front of the wrap. So here I did not like the placement of the wrap, so I went back and rolled it back up tightly and then re-wrapped the lower half so I can start coming back up. While I was wrapping, you can see that my hand was constantly running down the sides of the wrap to check for wrinkles or